Welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of Enter the Mind podcast, the most real talk, no nonsense podcast on the empowering of the mind. And we're off to a good start already with the rock on gestures. That tells me you're ready to rock, Kyra.
Definitely ready to rock. Almost like always ready to rock.
Perpetually, yeah. So what can we say about today's topic, which is why people do the things that they do? Start us off.
Well, I definitely want to start off with a question to get the thought thinking, to get the mind thinking. Do you know why you do the things that you do? Or is it a question that you frequently find yourself asking?
And you're asking me or the listeners?
I'm asking the listeners. When this topic came up, I feel like not everybody knows why they do what they do. I feel like it's a question that's commonly drifting through people's minds today in today's world, and I think it's important that we touch base on it and talk about really, like, do you know why you do what you do? Do you know why you're in the career that you're in? Do you know why you wear certain colors? Do you know why you have a certain style? Do you know why you're attracted to certain people and things, and maybe some other people and things you're not, so attracted to? So I think that that's, what I want to touch base on in today's episode. I think that most people are, they've worked so hard to get to a certain point, and they have these desires, it's not like maybe they're like willfully blind to their desires, but I feel like they're just drawn, to what they're drawn to, and they never question it. They never wonder why, or they do wonder why, but they don't know the answer.
Yeah, I can see that. I think a lot of people get caught in the rat race. I remember when I was doing an internship during college, I was working for the summer at a Fortune 500 company, big corporation that they manufactured trucks. And one day I was on the bus because there was this like shuttle that would take employees to the train station because a lot of employees commuted by train. So one day I'm on the bus and this is towards the end of my internship, and this guy next to me, he goes, "So, Robert, you're going to join the company? You think you're going to continue with this career path, whatever?" And I was working in computer science. And I told him, I was like, "No way, dude." And I was like 19 years old. He goes, "Why not?" I said, and at the time I didn't know really how to filter myself that well. So I just kind of like bluntly told him, I said, "Because you think I'm going to like work at this company for like 40 years of my life only at the end of it to be able to say that I helped them increase their profit margins by 0.5%, or I helped them produce another couple 100,000 trucks. I'm like, that's what my life is going to mean." And he got like a little depressed about it because he was that person. He was like older, right? And then I felt like the vibes on the whole bus just like shifted, and I was like, "Oops, I probably shouldn't have said that."
You probably should have. Wow, you probably changed a few of those lives.
Maybe that's a great way to look at it. Like if today, if some of them kind of like, ditched that career and like, had a midlife renaissance, that would be, that would be a good thing.
I love that. And it actually makes me really happy that you said that. Because it reminds me of, going a teensy bit off topic for a moment, but it reminds me of, why children or just some people who are so blunt and honest can have such a deep impact on people's minds. Definitely, I love the bluntness. Never cut the bluntness out. But I feel like So like green. Uh, I wear a lot of green. I love green, right? It's such a great color. It really is, especially to wear. And I feel like, if you ever take the time to look up, on the internet, the spiritual meaning of the color green, well, it has to do with nature. You know, I love natural law, so my subconscious mind is probably just drawn to the color green. Um, it has to do with the heart, the heart chakra,
Yep,
right?
I
So
was
I
gonna say
have,
that one. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So I have, a super big heart. I love having a big heart. So and then we've got pink here where my sleeve isn't buckled. I don't know why, but I'm definitely not going to buckle it. So I've got pink, which is like a little bit more girly, and then I have black, which is very plain. I just love the color black because it's so sexy, right? But then if you take a look at the actual spectrum of light, right, none of these colors actually are what they are. They're actually anything but the color they are, and just the way that it appears is how the spectrum of light falls into life or something like that, and it makes this color appear what it is. But that's the point. Like, why do you wear the colors that you wear? Let's start with that one. Like, Robert, what colors do you have in your house?
Colors of the gang that I'm in.
Oh shit, murder
The
gang. No, I'm
no
joking. I'm only joking.
high achievers gang. No, just kidding.
Hey.
Well, the colors in my apartment are kind of like I'm stuck with the carpet that they have installed here in the walls. So there's a lot of gray, but I kind of like gray. I'm wearing gray right now. Black, gray, and white is kind of one of my favorite outfits.
Okay, have you ever looked that up on the internet?
Tell me, do you know off the top of your head?
No, I don't. But I do know that white has to do with purity, um, like a very just pure, it's white. Um, so that's pretty nice. There's a little hint there for all the people out there who like the color white. Um,
I've noticed something about girls who drive white cars.
what's that?
They always seem a little more pure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely haven't come across that one, but I will. It's
Yep.
funny though that you say it. Girls who drive white cars definitely have a certain vibe to them. Like I definitely get that. It's like very clean, very pure, very kind of like just like a cute, like I don't know, like a high class almost um, vibe. I can't really put my finger on it right now, but
What's the reason why
yeah.
the wedding dresses are white? It's a
Mm-hmm.
symbol, like you said, of purity.
Boom bam, boom bam, and I guess black is a symbol of death. Um, I I definitely love the color black, but it's funny that we just started talking about this because um, I I really like the goddess Kali because she is the destruction goddess, but she's beneficial destruction. So she comes and she cuts off the head of the ego. So when you see her, she's just holding heads and she's got a necklace made of heads. And I personally love that. Um, and I also have blood on my nails for this Halloween. I specifically put this blood on my nails so I could spill the blood of the me that no longer is beneficial to me. I
That's pretty
specific
hardcore. Can you hold that up to the camera so we could see?
Yeah. Um so see how it's like dripping blood?
We sneak in a middle finger there to the camera. Um, no, it's kind of hard to see, but like, so are you
Yeah.
saying you painted it on like red? You painted red paint, right? You didn't use actual blood, did you?
No. No.
Okay. All right.
That would be
She's
really
normal. Okay,
hardcore.
good. No,
Um
just kidding.
But yeah, it probably explains why I love wearing black. I love just killing off old versions of me, and I definitely like doing that to others and my business as well.
We had an episode uh, in season 1 about getting rid of your old self or letting your old self die, right?
Oh my god, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it's wild because I mean, the name of the game is still survival. I was reading this book last night on chakras and chakra blockages, and what I learned is like just how adaptive it is, to create a blockage to deal with some sort of issue or problem or trauma in life. So it's adaptive. It helps you survive in the moment, but then you carry that blockage with you the rest of your life when you don't need to.
Yes. Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. And that's also a great segue into, why you do what you do. So to bring another question, thought provoking question into the episode, what did you develop when you were younger, something to protect you? And even in the past, like I'm talking like even 3 years ago, what have you developed inside of you that you no longer need, that you're carrying with you still? Like, take off the training wheels. It's okay. And yeah.
Right. So that's a huge thing, that something in our past could be a root cause of why we do something the way we currently do it today. It's weird. Being a human is so weird.
Being a human is so fucking cool. Like, it's weird as hell. We're some weird motherfuckers. We got a crazy ass world and a crazy ass way that things work. But it's so cool.
It's like you get teased when you're like 10 years old, and then so the whole rest of your life, the next 60 years of your life, your psyche and your mind is like dedicated to making sure people don't tease you again. And then you get all these complexes and you're like, I'm going to be a high achiever or whatever, right? Someone
Yeah.
someone tells you and you're young that you'll approval, disapproval or something, and somebody says you're going to be the head of a company when you're little, and you really want that person's approval, and so then whole rest of your life you dedicate yourself to being the head of a company. And
Mm.
it's like, is that what you really want? I mean, in a sense you do really want it because you want the approval, but it's more so you want the approval, and that's what's driving you.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Um, and in some ways that can be good, you know. Um, like there are some people who have told me that, you know, that I'm gonna be fucking great. That they don't know what the fuck I'm gonna be, but I'm gonna be great. And it was only a few people when I was younger. Mostly everybody was like, Kira's gonna wind up a stripper and end up in jail. And I was like, fuck you guys. That's not who I am. And I feel like in a way that really pushed me to be who I am today. Um, because it's kind of just like a big fuck you to everybody who talked any type of shit about me, whoever tried to put me down when I was younger. So that's definitely why I chose to be um, a mind mentor, a self mastery mentor. Um, yeah, so it's like can you go back, speaking to our listeners now, can you go back and think of, any times that somebody said something to you, or, somebody told you what you were going to be, or somebody said something about you that kind of stuck with you and you carry it with you today and it's actually not beneficial for you? And then can you do it the other way and find one that is beneficial?
I like how you flipped it at the end. Can you also find something that is beneficial? And it makes me think back
Yeah.
to Alexander the Great, because apparently his Alexander the Great was told that he was the son of Zeus, and clearly that's not true, right? I mean, I'm sure he had a human father, not a Greek mythological father, but because he believed this or because he thought that, he ended up conquering half the world. Like, I was watching this documentary, it was ridiculous. It was like he went on to this city and they showed a map and he's like, and he conquered this city and took it over and became their king or whatever. And then same thing. There's like, and then he moved on to this city and conquered that city. And I was like, whoa, like, all right, this is, this is pretty impressive. That documentary went on for like 30 more cities. I was like, are you serious? I was like, did this guy ever stop? I was like, how is he 30-0? Like, he's undefeated. He's like the Conor McGregor of like the ancient world.
How is he 30-0? Oh my god, that is so fucking funny.
Well, I mean, people don't want to give up their cities. People will fight. Like, look at Ukraine. People will fight for their homeland. Like, how does this guy just go and conquer like everybody? It's wild.
I know, it's so great, really. And number one, he definitely could have been the son of Zeus, but his soul rather than his body. Like his soul could have
I
been
see.
the son of Zeus. But what was I going to say? Yeah, if you believe anything about yourself, it will 100% come true. That's why sometimes I can be so in your fucking face, or why I charge towards something that I want, like a fucking, like there is nobody else in the room, like there is nobody else in the fucking world. It is only me. I am a warrior. I do believe that I fought in battles. I believe that I was a witch, way back in the day. So I believe these things about myself. Why? Because I've done the work. I've done the work. I've gone back, in my mind. I've listened to little signals, and this is how I know why I do what I do and why I chose the career that I chose. All of these little things that you find out about yourself will really tell you who you actually are as a person and as a soul. Where you've been in your past lives, what lessons you learned in your past lives. And you can certainly tell what lesson you didn't learn in your past life and what you're actually going for now. Because it's all of your struggles. So I'll stop there.
So, is the short answer to our question, why do we do what we do? Is the answer our beliefs? Our beliefs about ourselves is what makes us do what we do?
Yes, our beliefs about ourselves and our beliefs about what life is and how to live it. 100%.
Yeah, that's huge. Then that immediately opens for me a lot of doors mentally into thinking, like, what are my beliefs? Almost as if I'm walking into a library full of books and every book on the shelf is a belief in my mind. And I'm really taking account of all of this and realizing that all this stuff is here on the shelves to be examined. It's nothing mystical of like, oh, I just did this action today because I chose to. It's like, no, there's a belief somewhere in here that drove that thinking, which drove the actions.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Sing a little tune right there. I love when we get visual like that. Uh because really if you do go inside of your your little library and you go back to a belief, you may not think that you're going to be able to pinpoint it, but you 100% will. If you go into that library, you check out a belief and you open yourself up like vulnerably and kind of like not really trying to control the outcome, but really just like opening the book and just reading it. Like, where did this belief come from? Like, I want to read about it. You are your most interesting subject. You are your most valuable subject in life. And, if you don't know why you do the things that you do or why you think the way that you think, it would be extremely beneficial for you to go in and find it. Whether you do it on your own, whether you get help from, a Reiki practitioner, whether you get help from me and Enlightened Spirit Mastery School, whether you get help from Robert and his amazing ways of thinking and his caring heart, whether you get help from, you say you buy Tony Robbins, you know, it would be extremely beneficial for you because you are your most valuable asset and your soul.
Yes, very true. It makes me think of beliefs being either limiting or empowering, and to really look at each of them and really ask yourself, what is the outcome or result of believing this thing that I believe?
Yeah, yeah, like really, like what do you believe about life? Like what do you believe about yourself? And where are these beliefs taking you? Where will they get you in, 50 years? Are you do you have a wonderful belief about life, right? But there's kind of like some holes in there, right? Like maybe your business is doing super, super, super good. So good, right? You've got some good friends. Y'all go out to the bars, have some fancy drinks, or maybe you and your boys smoke some cigars, right? You go home, you have some sex, right? And, you know, is there something that you believe about life that is unbeneficial to your end goal? Like, are all of the beliefs that you have about life right now beneficial to that end goal? Is your soul going to be fulfilled at the end of your life? Um, and if you refuse to ask yourself these questions, why? Why? Why do you not want to ask yourself these questions? Do you have a belief that it's scary to go inside of yourself? Do you have a belief that, it's unbeneficial to go inside of yourself? Keep finding things out about yourself. You are so cool. Like you're the coolest person ever. So just go inside yourself.
Agreed. Shout out to introspection. Power question of the day. I would want people to ask themselves, right after doing some sort of action, behavior, whatever, to ask, this behavior that I just did, how was that possibly caused by a belief in my mind about myself that I hold on to, as opposed to, oh, it was just random, or, oh, I did it because that person said something. Of course, that's how I'm going to respond to that person. If they say this, I'm going to say this. Nope, nope, no, it's not the external, it's the internal. What belief is going on in here that says, when that person says this, when that person insults you or does whatever, then you respond this way. There's a internal root cause there.
Yes, 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 yes. And that got me thinking, and it already answered one of my questions. So I guess you can say that we raised the roof on this episode. So, as for our listeners, make sure that you give us a follow, make sure that you give us a review, make sure that you send us in what you need, help with mentally, and we will 100% help you. On top of that, make sure that you follow Robert on Instagram at Existence First, and you follow me on Instagram at Soul Designed Future. Yeah, come along for the ride.